Welcome to MojoPlays, and today we're taking a look at the 10 hardest levels in Sonic the Hedgehog games. For a franchise that wants you to go fast, there are a ton of levels that really force you to slow down and assess the situation, or they just kill you off whenever they feel like it. Which of these levels gave you the biggest challenge? Are there any notable ones we might have missed? Let us know down in the comments.
Before we begin, we publish new content all week long, so be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Titanic Monarch, Sonic Mania. Most of the zones featured in Sonic Mania offer up unique ideas and mechanics to keep the gameplay fresh. As for Titanic Monarch Zone, this was a level we could have done without. The first act isn't too much of a hassle, just somewhat more verticality integrated than most Sonic games. Act 2 is where things can get harrowing. Act 2 features a hazard called the Ruby Mist, and it can teleport you to random locations around the map, most likely places you've already been to, meaning you just lost a lot of progress. And if there's anything players despise more, it's being forced to do the same thing over and over again. Wing Fortress Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. For a setting, Wing Fortress Zone is actually kind of cool. As for actually traversing it as a proper level, it's miles away from being one of our favorite zones. Wing Fortress Zone simply demands too much precision and constant slowdown, often putting enemies and traps into very specific spots just to mess with you. On top of that, most of the zone is a bottomless pit, so if you fall, that's it! You're dead! You're dead, son, and you gotta start all the way back at the beginning, or wherever your last checkpoint was previously found. Like we said, it's far from being considered a favorite. Way too far. We'd rather do the Death Egg Zone instead, and speaking of which... Death Egg Zone, Sonic and Knuckles. Whereas Sonic 2 made the Death Egg Zone a back-to-back double boss fight, Sonic and Knuckles made it a full-fledged zone that will make you annoyed very quickly. Spikes, springs, and electrical traps have been placed all over in very inconvenient spots. Basically, this is where the game will fight you to control your speed, and it gets worse the further you progress. And did we mention the occasional shift in perspective where you get to run on ceilings or fall sideways? If you want to hear the double boss battle Death Egg Zone in Sonic 2, be sure to check out our 10 hardest Sonic bosses list. Lost Impact, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Those liquid creatures are the experiment byproduct. Thank you, Shadow.
This 2005 spin-off had some interesting levels and locations, but Lost Impact is absolutely the worst of them all. See, it's not even hard in the same vein as Wing Fortress Zone or even Titanic Monarch Zone. It's hard because of how convoluted the level design is. Lost Impact is way bigger than it needs to be, forcing you to go and explore branching pathways without giving you any real direction as to where the goal is. And if you choose to hunt the 35 rogue experiments for the true hero ending, you'll most likely be wasting time trying to find the last one because they were shoved in some corner you never knew about. In other words, Lost Impact is hard because of how much patience it demands from its unhelpful, labyrinthian design. You're better off just going straight for the exit. I'm telling you this from personal experience too. The reward you get for the true hero ending, it's not worth it.
Don't hurt them!
Final Rush, Sonic Adventure 2. Regardless of how you feel about rail segments in your Sonic games, many of us can agree that Final Rush is the toughest level of the hero's story in Adventure 2. While we can appreciate the intricacy and multiple pathways to the goal, Final Rush assaults you the same way no matter which path you take. Expect swarms of robot hornets and artificial chaos as you venture forth, and just pray that you have enough lives to make it to the end. Really, it's utter harassment, this level. I cannot stress that enough. Sandopolis Zone, Sonic and Knuckles. We try not to double down on more than one entry from the same game, but Sandopolis Zone was one we just couldn't ignore. Act 2 of the zone can already be frustrating due to the limited lighting, and remember, many of us were not playing this game on TVs with decent backlighting, let alone at clearer resolutions before the 2010s. So, this zone was much darker than it looks today. But to make matters worse, Sandopolis Zone features some quicksand pools that will either aid you in finding secrets or straight up kill you. So you'll probably want to look up a guide before tackling this zone, no matter how familiar you are with it. Labyrinth Zone, Sonic the Hedgehog. Now, would any of you like to take a guess as to what Labyrinth Zone is like? It's in the name, and just uttering the name is giving us some really bad flashbacks, man. Labyrinth Zone was the most annoying stage in the game, a bigger nuisance than even Marble Zone. You'll be left flipping switches like a madman as you try to figure out which path leads to where. But what makes it more frustrating is how most of the zone is flooded, and we all know what happens when Sonic is submerged in water. Yeah. Your anxiety levels just skyrocket, man. Final Fortress, Sonic Heroes.
I'll take care of them.
What's great about the early stages of Sonic Heroes is that you can lose a teammate and still find a way to make some progress. Not in Final Fortress, though. Here you can lose teammates easily among the mindless destruction. Lasers rain down from the sky, floors can collapse, and Eggman's got his strongest enemies at every turn. And if you so much as lose just one person, you're not getting to the next area. You're better off jumping off the stage and starting over because you won't get far without a full team of 3. Eggman Land, Sonic Unleashed. This one is the bane of every Sonic fan's existence. Eggman Land sounds like it should be the most fun level in the game, much like the casino and carnival themed levels in previous titles. Eggman Land completely removes fun from its design and opts for inconvenient enemy placement and a plethora of bottomless pits. And you have to endure all of this for about half an hour. Why does it go on for so long? We will never know, but when we replay Unleashed, there is a really big reason why we stop playing once we reach this stage. It is just not worth the hassle. We know how it ends. We all know. Do we need to do this again? All of them. Sonic 06. Oh, haha, yeah, MojoPlays beating a dead horse about Sonic 06. You know we had to put it on here. You know we had to. Have you ever played Sonic 06? If you haven't, let us remind you. This game is broken. It is beyond repair. The whack physics, the shoddy controls, the various bugs and glitches, lazy enemy placement, lack of direction, it'll all find some way to off you in the cheapest ways possible. Doesn't matter which character you're playing as or where you're starting from, Sonic 06 makes life difficult in the most unexpected ways. So yes, we're going to talk about Sonic 06 again, because it is by far the hardest Sonic game to play, and it's not even trying to be.
Darn! We're not gonna make it! Let's speed up!
Check out these other great clips from MojoPlays, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.